Hello, everyone. I'm Will Brown, one of the WordPress Sydney meetup organizers, and welcome to the WordPress Sydney online meetup for March 2021. Tonight's topic is all about WooCommerce, so specifically WooCommerce for first-time shop owners. And I'm going to be going through the whole WooCommerce interface just to let you have a look around if you've not seen it before. If you haven't created an online shop before, then it's sometimes a little bit easier if you can see someone else go through all the steps beforehand. So we'll go through that one tonight. Drop us your name and where you're from in the comments below. Let me know where you're tuning in from. We've got Mr. Meowpuss. Good evening to you. Okay, we'll just go through some of the agenda for tonight. I'll make that a little bit bigger. There we go. So we're going to start on time. Hopefully we'll finish around about 7:30. It's going to be dependent on topics, on questions. And so we're going to do a quick welcome. News and updates, maybe not so much news and updates. I don't really have very much for you in that area just now. And the main presentation, and we'll do like the Q&A afterwards. But if you want to post questions in the comments below the YouTube video, starting with hashtag ask. That just allows me to easily see them and pick them out. And you can ask them throughout the presentation, and if I've got some time, I will answer them. If not, then I'll look back at the end and go and try and deal with some of those. Some people will just wait for people to come and join us. So we've got Morris. Hi to you and to everyone. Jonathan Cooper from Greenpoint and Central Coast. Thank you for spending your evening with me. Andrew, I downloaded it and wondering what to do next. Oh, we just sit and listen and enjoy. And we've got Juanita from Australia. So thank you again for joining in this evening. There's just me tonight, just me. So you have to suffer through me for the next hour. Elizabeth, hi Elizabeth. So a lot of these people, they join my WP Quickies. So I do WP Quickies, bite-sized WordPress tips and tricks in 30 minutes or less every Thursday at 1 o'clock Sydney time. When we're all meeting, we want to make sure that everyone is abiding by the code of conduct. So I've sent a link in the comments below, so you can have a look at that. It basically just means be nice to everyone, don't be a jerk, and I'm sure everyone here is going to abide by that. I want to say hello to and thanks to our sponsors. So we have our sponsors, Kinetics, WP Engine, Plesk, WordPress, and Microsoft Reactor Sydney. So these guys support us not only in a physical sense, in the physical meetups, but also, they give us support. They give us some free stuff as well. They're there to help us out as a community, and they do a lot for the community as well. So give them a big thanks and just visit their websites and see what sort of services and things that they offer, and that'd be fantastic. We are hoping to get back to physical meetups soon-ish, but we're not really quite sure what soon means. It's all really dependent on our event hosts, Microsoft. So we're just in talks with them at the moment, just to see, whenever they feel it's safe for physical meetups to come back, then we'll set some dates for those. So it might be later on in the year, but in the meantime, we're going to be doing the online meetups. I am looking for some more volunteers. So would you like to step up as a volunteer organizer for the WordPress Sydney meetup? Would you? That would be fantastic. And so at the moment, the meetups are just online. So from commitment wise, it'd really be about 2 or 3 hours a month to do things like social posting, maybe some comment moderation and responses to that, maybe curate some questions as well from the comment stream. If we do go back to in-person meetups, then it might be things like setup, close down, meet and greet people at the door, maybe doing some MCing, and maybe coordinate with some guest speakers as well. So for those, but specifically for the online one just now, I'll be looking for maybe a 6-month commitment at least. So 6 months worth of 2 to 3 hours per month. And there's a form there if you're interested, if you've got some time to step up as a volunteer organizer. You don't have to speak. There's lots of other things that need to be done. Trying to do it all by myself is quite tricky. So if you do fancy stepping up as a volunteer, fill out that little form that's in the comment below, and yeah, I'll have a look at your application and get in touch with you. So while we're waiting for more people to come online, if you are viewing it on YouTube, which you probably are because the Facebook didn't work today. I don't know what was up with the API, but it wouldn't let us connect. So we're just on Facebook. Make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and click on that bell and to get notifications on when we go next online. Okay, I think that's us got pretty much everyone that's going to join us today. Hi, Elizabeth. Thank you for joining us this sunny Sydney evening and wherever you guys are. So welcome to you all. Welcome to you guys at home. Welcome to those overseas as well. Sometimes join us. And welcome to those who are watching this on replay. I know we've got quite a few people who like to watch it later on in the week or at night time. So welcome to those guys too. Okay, so tonight's topic is setting up WooCommerce for first-time shop owners. So why WooCommerce? Well, WooCommerce, it's an e-commerce plugin that's popular for small and large shop owners. It is the biggest growing e-commerce platform on the internet just now. Isn't that fantastic? It's been around for a few years and it just gets better and better. It was bought by Automatic. That's the company behind WordPress. It was bought by them a couple of years ago, I believe. So now you've got the actual WordPress core developers are working on this WooCommerce to make it even tighter integration with WordPress. So it can only get better from here, I reckon. So what is WooCommerce really? It allows you to sell physical and virtual products. It accepts PayPal and Stripe, that's credit card payments in the free version. So WooCommerce is popular because it's very easy to set up. And it has a huge number of add-on plugins, some free, some paid, and it pretty much allows you to virtually sell anything. And that's why it's probably the most popular e-commerce platform at the moment. So we're going to be having a look at the interface in this talk tonight. The core WooCommerce plugin is absolutely, completely 100% free, which is great. And it comes, as I say, with PayPal standard payment gateway kind of built into the core app. And so you can get the WooCommerce plugin. You can download that from your WordPress admin dashboard. So you go to the plugins and then add new and type in WooCommerce and you can add it directly from there. Or you can download it as a zip file from the link that I've just pasted in here from the WordPress.org plugins repository. You download that as a zip file onto your local machine and then go to your WordPress dashboard and then click on add new. There's a button at the top to say upload plugin and then choose your zip file and that's WooCommerce uploaded for that. You are not on your own. There is a whole heap of documentation. So if you're a documentation whiz, WooCommerce has you covered. So I just pasted the link in there. And so it got full documentation on the entire core plugin features, as well as all the official add-ons as well. So all the add-ons that come with WooCommerce, the free and the paid ones, complete documentation on how to set them up with pictures and step-by-step guides. So you're not going to go far wrong. If you're going to try and delve into WooCommerce as a shop, there's lots of information as documentation, but as well, you've got the whole community of us developers around you as well. So you can easily extend the core functionality of WooCommerce by add-on plugins. As I said, some are free and some are paid. Some don't cost very much and some cost quite a bit. So it's a bit of a mismatch of prices. So we'll look at some of these a little bit more in this talk. Okay, so let's not waste any more time. So if you've got any questions, post them in the comments below. I'll try and circle around to them eventually. Use the hashtag ask at the beginning to the question just so I can see them quickly when they come up in the comments. So let me stop my screen and reshare WooCommerce one. Application window and this one. And share to screen. Okay, so I might get rid of myself and just make that big, just so you can see the screen a little bit better. Okay, so this is just a test website that I'm running on. It's running on a great company called Wordify.com, and they actually give you free developer instances. So it's all password protected, and the whole idea is you can go and create a website for your customer, host it for free so they can have a look at it, and then once it's ready, you just port it over to whatever platform you like. So they give you unlimited free developer websites and up to 10 gigabytes of storage at wordify.com. I am an affiliate, but there's no affiliate links here tonight, so you just have a look at them. I find them really, really useful, especially for little demo things like this. So this website, it's just got WooCommerce installed. It's got another few plugins, but they're not active. So again, if you were to install WooCommerce, you go to Plugins, Add New. It might take a little bit of time for this one. There we go. Type in WooCommerce here, press return, and it'll go and search the WordPress.org repository, and you can add it directly in from there. So it says it's installed and active from there. So once you do that, when you activate WooCommerce, what you will get is it'll actually create some pages. So let's have a look at them first. So these pages are created: cart, checkout, my account, and shop. And they're all pretty self-explanatory. Your shop shows you all your products. Your cart is where you add stuff into. Your checkout is where you check out and pay things from. And your my account is there. So if you want to allow people to create an account so they can log back in and get stuff and buy more stuff, then that's where they will be redirected to my account from there. So those are the pages that WooCommerce creates when you activate the plugin. As far as navigation, you can see down the side, there's a WooCommerce navigation aid here. It's got some sub topics here, and then you've got a products, which is all your products. You've got an analytics for reports, and then you've got a little bit called marketing, which is relatively new, and it's just got coupons on there just now, but I'm sure more stuff will appear later on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through WooCommerce and just the interface, just so you can have a look, and then we'll go through some of the settings as well. So down the side, we've got home. This may take a little bit of time. You can see this filling in. It uses Ajax in the background, and it's not the fastest of website at the moment just now, because I've got quite a lot of other stuff on this host, so it might take a few seconds to render, but here we go. So we've got orders, we've got customers, we have coupons down here. In fact, the coupons, that's the legacy coupons. It's now in the marketing, so see how it's redirected me to the different navigation. So then we've got reports, so you can see all your shopping or your money coming in and out. Then we've got settings, and we'll go through that in a second. Status. Status is where you can go to just have a look at what's happening with WordPress, what you've got installed. Specifically, if you have a problem, so you're going to raise a support ticket with someone, then you'll probably have to copy this this system information. It just tells you about all your environment, your PHP, what plugins you've got installed, just so that a support engineer can try and figure out what's going on. So we'll have a look at that in a little bit, and then extensions. Extensions here are all the different add-ons, the official add-ons that you can get for WooCommerce. We're probably not going to have a look at most of those tonight. We'll maybe have a look at a couple. Then products. So this is its own separate navigation. We've got products. It's going to list all your products here. And products can have categories and tags. And then products can also have attributes. Now, attributes are things like for example, if you're buying a t-shirt, then you might have a t-shirt attribute called color, which should be red, green, yellow. Sizes, which should be small, medium, large, that sort of thing. So that's the attributes for products. Then you got analytics. You can see the overview of analytics, so you can choose different date ranges and just get how much sales you've got, how many new orders, top products, top categories, top customers, things like that. So that's all your reporting stuff here. So you've got revenue, orders, all that sort of taxes, how many downloads. So that's your reporting system here. And then marketing, as I say, that's relatively new. It's just mostly coupons at the moment, but it will be extended a little bit later on, I'm sure, with some more stuff. So you've installed WooCommerce. That's all you've got in. You've activated the plugin. It's created those pages, which is great. But the first thing you really need to do is you need to go into WooCommerce, into the settings, and set it up. Now, I want to talk about, very, very quickly, I want to talk about the wizard. Okay, so WooCommerce, the version 3, the previous version, and this version here comes with a wizard. And the wizard is meant to help you go through all the settings for WooCommerce and set up your shop for you. And in version 3, it worked perfectly. It was lovely. It allowed you to set up all the pages and all your currency and your location, all that sort of stuff. However, as of version 4, it is more of, well, it is completely a marketing widget, a marketing wizard. I would recommend, or I strongly recommend, you actually don't use the wizard when you're setting up your first WooCommerce store. It's not very good. It only allows you to set a little bit of the settings, and it's mostly marketing from WooCommcerce.com. Let's just have a quick look at it, and I'll show you, and you can choose for yourself. This is just my own thoughts, and it's no official thoughts at all. But I'm going to take you through it just so you can see. Now, it normally comes up when you first activate WooCommerce. I've activated it before, so it doesn't come up with me, but you can actually get back to it again. So if you go in the WooCommerce and settings, and then click on this little help box down here, and then there's a setup wizard here, and you can click on that, and then run the setup wizard if you need to run it again. So I'm just going to show you what it's like, and I'll give you my thoughts on why I think it's a bit pants. I'm going to make this full screen just so you can see. Okay, so there are several steps. These are all being completed because I've completed before. But basically, these checkboxes would be unchecked until you complete them. So this is the very first one, store details, and this is an actual setting. And we'll see that when we go in the settings in the background. So it asks you where your business address is from. So you add your address line in, your country, your city, and your postcode. You have an option to say I'm setting store up for a client, but that has absolutely nothing to do with the actual shop settings. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, these 5 input boxes, that's your WordPress settings. This one is not. That's just marketing for WooCommcerce.com. Okay, let's have a look on step 2. Okay, so here we go. It's asking straight away, get improved features and faster fixes by sharing non-sensitive data via usage tracking. Basically, that's saying WooCommcerce.com. So that's the commercial part of WooCommerce. That's where you can host. It's like Shopify.com, but for WooCommerce. This is sending data back to the WooCommerce team from your store. It says anonymous, and yeah, I have no reason to doubt that it is. But still, that's data that they're sending back. So it's got nothing to do with the settings at all. So I would recommend, if you are using this wizard, say no, thank you. Okay, someone's saying that the wizard stuffed up everything. Yep. So let me just take you through and I'll show you why. Okay, so this is step 2 and it's called industry. So this is asking you which industry does the store operate? And you have a choice of these different options here: food and drink, home furniture, education, learn, other. If you click on other, it's going to ask you. This has nothing to do with your shop setting. This sends data back to WooCommcerce.com. Let's continue. Step 3 is product types. Okay, what products are you going to be listing? Are they going to be physical? Are they going to be downloads? Are they going to be subscriptions, memberships, bookings, bundles, customizable products? This has nothing to do with your setup, with your WooCommerce setup. This is information that's being sent back to WooCommcerce.com. These ones here are actually, if you check them at the end of this process, it's actually going to download that particular WooCommerce add-on, and these are premium add-ons, and then it's going to ask you for your payment details. So again, this is really nothing to do with your initial setup for your shop, and now we're starting to get into paying lots of money. Okay, so I would suggest that you don't check any of these at all until you're absolutely sure what you're running and what type of add-ons that you want. Don't just buy them. Have a research into them at the moment. And it's got little small letters, billing is annual, and you're going to pay some money. Keep going. Okay, next. Business details. So this is really what I don't like about it, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I know it's not really part of the WooCommerce. I just want to show you why I don't think you should be using this one. So it's asking you about the business. How many products do you plan to display? Are you currently selling elsewhere? Yes, where from? And then it's going to ask you what's your current revenue, how much money, which I think is quite invasive. I don't think you should be. Again, this has got nothing to do with setup. All this information goes back to WooCommcerce.com. So this has nothing to do with setting up your WooCommerce shop. And again, actually, these are all set on by default, and these will install other plugins by default. I think these are actually free, but still, I don't think you should be installing any additional plugins during the setup of your WooCommerce shop. You should concentrate on setting up your shop first, and then look at the plugins that you need to expand it. So that's it. That's the wizard, and then you click on continue. You've actually got to choose something. You've got to fill out all the stuff. So I'm going to say no to that. There we go, and then continue. And then once that's done, then it basically sets that one page, that very first page with your business details. So that's my reasons. I'm not going to dwell on it any longer. I don't think you should use it, that setup. I think it's a bit, there's more actually. There, it's asking you very end, choose a theme. So you can use your current theme, or you can buy more from WooCommerce.com. So I'm going to say keep my active theme. Oh, even more. Look, now it's asking you to install Jetpack. So no thanks. No, I don't want to install Jetpack. I just want to set up my WooCommerce shop. Thank you very much. Okay, finally, we're all done. So all that really did was set up your business address, all those things, which I think is pretty poor for a wizard that's meant to help you set up your shop. Okay, so here we are on the dashboard on the homepage. It's got how many orders, but it's also got some of these things. It's like helps and tooltips. You can dismiss all those. I'm going to dismiss all the messages, so we'll get rid of all of those. Yes, I am absolutely sure I don't want to see them. Okay, so now you've got like your orders overview. It's going to ask you again down here, do you really not want to install Jetpack? Oh, no, go away. Okay, so now that is your proper. Now we're all done. We've got rid of all those notices. We've got rid of all the thousands of Jetpack stuff. And this is your actual WooCommerce homepage with your orders, with your stats and overview, and your store management from here. But we're really trying to set up our store. So let's ignore that wizard. The first thing you should do is come to WooCommerce and settings. Okay, Juanita, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. She's asking, I bought WooCommerce membership as a separate plugin, and it was a one-off payment. Is that still okay to use? It is, absolutely. Yep, so one-off payments are great. I love them. Sometimes they're called lifetime deals. If you can get that, then that's fine. It's just that the wizard thing tries to get you to subscribe when you really should be concentrating on setting up your WooCommerce store. So yes, you can use that. That's no problem at all, Juanita. Great question. So here we are. We've got this big message here that says the coupon management has moved. Remove the legacy coupon menu. So it's this menu here. So I'm going to click on that just to get rid of the message. It might take a few seconds. There we go. Taking it to marketing coupons. That's fine. Let's go back to the settings because that's what you're here for. WooCommerce settings. Where are you? Here we go. So this is it's got several tabs at the top: general, products, shipping, payments, accounts and privacy, emails, integration, and advanced. And this is where you need to go to, when you first installed your WooCommerce plugin. And this is where you set up all your stuff. Let's just get rid of these notices at the moment. So you'll recognize this. This was the first page of the wizard. And so it's, first of all, it's asking your store address. It's quite important that you don't put your own home address unless that's where your business is based from. But I would always advise you, if you not to run your business from your house. At the very least, get like a PO box or a virtual business address and run it from there, just so that people don't turn up at your door. So you can see here, it's the address line 1, then you've got your city, your country, your postcode. Now, it's important that you do set up this with your business because a lot of things run off this location. Okay. Then we've got general options here. It's going to ask you, where are you selling to? Are you going to sell to all countries? Or maybe you're just selling to specific countries. So if you are, then you can sell to specific countries or every country except for. So your product types might be, you might not be able to ship them to some countries, or they might be banned for reasons. For example, if you're selling pyrotechnics, you need a particular license, and some countries you can't sell to, so things like that. So you can set up where you're selling to from there. And shipping locations as well. So where you're actually physically shipping to. So these things are different. So selling to different countries you can sell to. So people from that country, they can buy. And then where you actually ship those products to. And again, it's very similar. Ship to all countries or specific countries, or disable the shipping for that if you're not shipping those. Default customer location. For this, so you can have no location by default and then ask them to specify where they are located. But the default is by your default customers are your base address, which is this one up here, Australia. So WooCommerce, if you leave it by default, will assume that your base customers are in this country state, which is where you are, which is fairly specific. Then you can geolocate, and there's an option to link in with another service that actually automatically figures out where you are, or your shop base address, which is this one here as well. So lots of different options there. You can enable tax. So if you are selling to countries that you know have different taxes, I'm not talking about the ones that people get in to go to places. We're talking about money tax like GST, VAT, and all that sort of stuff. You can enable that here, and then the rates will be calculated on the checkout. You can choose to enable or disable coupons. They are enabled by default, but there's no coupons created. So even if you leave this enabled, people won't be able to use coupons until you actually create one. And you have an option to calculate coupons sequentially, or one after, which is sequentially, or on the total checkout price. I have a question here. If you sell to all countries, is there a WooCommerce plugin that can change the currency? Yes, there is. I had that question just a couple of weeks ago. I'll try and find that for you when you talk about. There is a specific country that changes your a plugin that changes your currency depending on which country they select. So yes, I'll try and find that at the end if I can circle around. Okay, so this is the last part of the general. This is your currency option. So very important that you set this up, currency. So I've set mine to be Australian dollar because that's what you want to trade in. But if you've got an international a website, then you might want to set that to US dollars. A lot of people, when they sell to multiple countries, will just base default on US dollars because of exchange rates. But you can figure that out yourself. So currency, and then you got the positions and the thousands and separators there. So that'd be your first change. Store address and all these general options here. Make sure you click on the Save Changes at the end of each tab. Otherwise, you'll lose all that data when you start navigating. So let's have a quick look at the products. So these are all the settings. So they're not the actual products, just the settings. And we can see here that within this tab, we actually have sub-tabs here, or sub-settings. So it's set to general, but if we click on inventory, then we get a new list of settings and downloadable products, and we get a new settings page here. Some people that are new to WooCommerce don't see that straight away. They think it might be like what do they call those? The little bookmark links from there. But these are actually settings from there. So let's have a look at the general. So within the general for the products, you can set a specific shop page in there. So you can set to shop by default, but you can change to any page that you like. The cart behavior as well. So you can redirect a cart page after a successful addition. So when someone adds a product, then you can redirect to the cart page directly, or just leave them on the shop page. Now, I actually use this one here. I sell some courses, and some of my clients sell courses. And generally, when someone's buying a course, they're only really buying one at a time. So I click on this. So when people buy a course through WooCommerce, then it redirects them directly to the cart page, and they can pay for it and check out from that. Enable Ajax cart. Yeah, that's okay. Placeholder image. Now this one usually confuses a few people. So when you create new products and you don't add a thumbnail, a picture for that, WooCommerce actually uses a default image, and people are saying, where does this image come from? So when you activate WooCommerce the first time, it creates a thumbnail image in the media library. Let's go and have a quick look at that just now. So here we are. I've got several pictures before because I've been playing around with it. But this is the image here that the WooCommerce plugin creates by default. And it just looks like a little picture with a mountain and a sun. And it's 1200 by 1200 pictures. And this is the one that's going to use if you don't have any thumbnails. But where do we get that number 6 from? Well, if you look up at the admin bar, and I know it's very difficult to see up here, but it says wp-admin/upload.php ? Item equals 6. So that's the ID number of that particular image. And that's different for all these different ones. Let's have a look at the banana. Up at the top, it says item equals 13. Now that's the only place that you can find the item number. So if you wanted to change the default image that your products have when you don't add a thumbnail, you could change it to this one by finding out the ID, which this one is 13 from the address bar, and then going back to the settings here and adding number 13 in there, and that would associate that with that thumbnail. Some questions here. Is there an option to set crypto coin like Bitcoin? Yes, there are, Mr. Miapius. There is quite a few plugins that will set crypto coins. I probably won't go over them tonight, but I can post some links in the comments below afterwards. And another one, yeah, that's the same one. Yep. So yes, you can add Bitcoin plugins to your payment options. So again, measurements here, you got your kilogram, or if you go imperial, you can do pounds. Then at the end, so and dimensions as well, centimeters or inches if you're imperial. Now that's going to be important if you're shipping physical goods. You want to make sure that you got your weight categories and your dimensions proper. Otherwise, when you go to shipping and trying to calculate how much it's going to cost, then that's not going to work. So make sure you've got your right units in here. And then lastly, on this one, in the general payments, I don't know why it's under products, you've got reviews, so you can enable reviews or and disable reviews, and product ratings as well. You can enable and disable those ones there. We'll need to ask, do you set only one thumbnail for all products? No. So what this thumbnail is for this one here, and the setting here, is if you create a product and you don't add a featured image, just like a post, if you add a featured image to it and it displays, if you leave the featured image blank for any products, then it will use this default placeholder image. For all products in your store that you don't have a specific image for, it will use that. So it's like a general placeholder image for everything until you upload an image for each product specifically. So that's that. You can change that. That's a great question. Thank you for that. So let's move on. Inventory, and I don't want to update any of those. So again, inventory, you can enable stock management. So if you're selling virtual products, then obviously you don't need stock management in there, but you can enable that. And you can have different options for holding items like 60 minutes or 30 minutes or things like that. And stock visibility as well, you can hide them. Downloadable products. So if you're selling virtual stuff, you can force the downloads, or you can redirect them for those. A few options here. So you can restrict access. So for members only. So restrict them to log in before they can download that, or grant them access to products after payment. And this one's quite important here for security. So this one appends a unique string to each file name, just so that you've not got the same file name. So if Joe Blog says, "Oh, I bought this $1,000 template off this website, and it was this file name," and then he goes and shares it with all his friends, and suddenly they're downloading all that for free. So it's quite important to keep that checked. That one from there, and that's all the product settings. I'm not going to cover shipping just now. I might circle back to that if I've got some time at the end, because shipping is the most complicated part of setting up not only a WooCommerce shop, but any shop. Let's have a quick look at the payment settings. So if you're creating your new WooCommerce shop, you are going to have to go through all these settings. Make sure you go through them all and make sure they're all right. So this is WooCommerce out of the box. It comes with direct bank transfer, and that one is enabled. So that allows people to transfer directly from their account into your account number. Check payments, cash on delivery, if that's what you're supporting, and PayPal standards. So here's where you'd set up your actual PayPal payment. So usually my clients usually have that unchecked, and they'll have PayPal checked on, and they'll move that so they can drag up to the top. And that just means it's going to use those ones in order. So it'll say, if you've got this one at the top, then it'll say, oh, PayPal will come out at the top. If you've got direct bank transfer and then cash on delivery, that's the kind of order that WooCommerce is going to prompt you to how you want to pay. So let's check those off. Okay, now PayPal standards. So if you have to set these up. So for example, if you go into PayPal here and edit that, then now you've got some settings for your PayPal things. Now I'm not going to go into setting up PayPal specifically, just to say this is where you do it. Otherwise, this is going to turn into a very, very long chat. So disable PayPal standard, and then you've got your PayPal email. So that's your PayPal email that you get paid on. You can put it into a test mode, and I'd always advise you, if this is your first time setting up a new shop, that you click on that and then do some tests through, and then you'll be able to log into your PayPal sandbox. It's a test account. and put in some transactions, and no money gets taken out of anyone's bank accounts, but you can see the process that it goes through. You can go through a checkout, you can see the emails, you can see the order complete, but no actual money exchanges hands. So you can do that for most of the payment processors for that. Login if you get into trouble. IPN, you need to have that checked. So when you send something to PayPal, when someone's paying something, PayPal will then send a notification back to your website to say, yes, this has been paid for, or this guy's using a dodgy credit card. You might not want to honor that. So again, you need to go into the IPN part of PayPal, and you can find that in the docs on the WooCommerce document website that I sent a link for earlier. You can go on there and have a look at the PayPal standard plugin, and it will tell you step by step how to set up this plugin, these settings here, and how to go into PayPal, where to go, and what to set the IPN ping back to make sure that it's sending stuff back to your WooCommerce website. So again, you just got things like invoice prefix, PayPal identity, shipping details as well. So a whole heap of stuff that you can put on there. But the most important part really is your API here. So make sure you put in your API keys. And again, if you need to know where to go to set this up, then you go to that docs.woocommerce.com website, and then search for the PayPal standards plugin. And it has all the documentation that tells you exactly where to go to generate these APIs, and then how you copy them in and which ones you should do. Got a few questions coming through. Let's just have a quick look at these. Yes, so I've done that one. Sorry. Another one. If you hit that file name, other people can't download the digital program if they didn't purchase it. That is correct. So that was the unique string number. So it does that for each purchase. If you got a downloadable product, it'll append a random number of characters and digits onto the end, so that only that one person theoretically can get that link. Yep. What's the best way to take credit card payments? I'm getting there, Liz. Hold on, I'm getting there. In fact, let's just do that just now. So I've covered the payments. I've told you this is a PayPal standard, and here's where they be set up. Let's go back. I'm going to leave that because I don't want to do it in settings. So by default, I'll just save that order. Oops, made a mistake there. By default, the WooCommerce core just comes with PayPal. So that's the only payment other than direct transfer. So obviously, most people are going to want to take payments by credit card. So let's jump out of the WooCommerce settings and let's set up that credit card part just now. And we'll jump back into the settings and keep going with our WooCommerce shop. So what we want to do is we want to go to plugins and click on add new. And then we want to type in WooCommerce Stripe. Now, there's lots of different ways to take credit cards, and some people like to go with stuff from their own bank. So their own bank might have a particular WooCommerce gateway that they use, like Westpac. Westpac have one. I think NAB have one as well. There's things like WorldPay. There's eWays. There's lots of different ways to take credit cards, but Stripe, for me, I think is the easiest and best one to choose. So here we are. This is the WooCommerce Stripe Payment Gateway. It's by WooCommerce, so this is the official plugin here. So we install that. It's totally free. It didn't used to be. It used to be a paid plugin, but now it's totally free. So let's wait for that to install. That's installed, then activate. And then we can jump back into our WooCommerce settings. So this is just a plugin. That's all it is. So that's it done. And then now when we go into WooCommerce and settings, when we go back into where we were, and in payments. Now we can see we've got a whole heap of stuff. We've got Stripe, SoFort, Stripe GiroPay, Stripe EPS. You don't need to bother about any of this stuff unless you really specifically use them. This one, Stripe credit card payment, the basic one. So let's click on that. We're going to enable that. And that just tells the WooCommerce site that we are going to use that one as a payment gateway. And we're going to move it up. You can use these little arrows as well as drag and drop. We'll save that as changes. And then we'll go in and have a look at some of the settings. And again, to set this up, you go to docs.woocommerce.com and then search for the documentation for the Stripe add-on, which is their official add-on. It'll tell you step by step, picture by picture, what to fill in, where to go, how to create a Stripe account, where to go into Stripe to set up your API keys and all that sort of stuff there. So I'm not going to cover that tonight because that's a whole subject in itself. But here we go. Enable or disable Stripe. You can give it some descriptions there. But this is basically where you set up your Stripe account. So again, with PayPal, you can have a test mode. So you can test all your transactions and see how the flow works without actually using actual money exchange in hands. And then once you're ready to go, you uncheck that and then put in see how that changes. You got test publishable key and then live publishable key. So we'll leave it in test mode. These are your API keys. You generate these from within your own Stripe account. Nobody else should know those. These are completely secret. Don't tell anyone ever, ever, ever. But you copy those in, and once those are in, and then you've created this, which is a webhook, which is similar to PayPal. It basically tells, once WooCommerce sends the information to Stripe, the person enters the card details. Once Stripe processes that, it needs to send information back to your website to say yes, success, fail, fraud, all that sort of stuff. So that's how you do that. And again, there's a documentation on how you do that within the doc.woocommerce.com website. So once you've done that, you put in all your secret stuff, then you're ready to go, basically. So that's all the different information on Stripe. So that's how to set up card payments. It's really simple to do. So you just copy a key in here, your webhook in here. You create your webhook in Stripe to make it go back to your WordPress website. See, it's got the domain for this website in here. And it's got a little question mark and then some stuff that just allows Stripe to contact your website. And there's things you can put in here, like you can put a statement descriptor. So you can put your website, like if you're selling widgets, .com, something like that. Yeah, so you can have your button types, buy, donate, or custom, whatever you want on your button. A dark theme, buy now, or enroll if you're doing courses, and enable it to save cards as well. It doesn't actually save the cards, it just saves a token for those cards. So that's how you set up credit card. So now we've got PayPal, now we've got credit cards going, which is fantastic. I'll circle back to some questions. Would you use WooCommerce if selling services rather than products or downloads? You can, Morris. That's a great question. There is a plugin. In fact, there's a couple of plugins that basically strip WooCommerce of all product-related stuff. So it gets rid of all the dimensions, all the units. It gets rid of all that sort of stuff that's associated with physical products, like shipping address and all that. And it just allows you to basically put in a product as a service and sell that, and somebody can pay for it, and then you can basically link it to like a virtual download. So that could be a product guide, it could be a services guide, it could be a contract template, things like that. So yes, I use WooCommerce on a couple of my websites. So my wpwingman.com, which I sell WordPress maintenance site care plans, that's all running WooCommerce, and it runs WooCommerce as a service for that. So yes, you can. Another question. Would you use WooCommerce if accepting user-chosen variable value donations for, say, a church? Probably not. Morris, that probably wouldn't be my first choice. Maybe jump into WooCommerce because it is more of a shop. So yes, selling services, you're getting all that reporting and you're doing your credit cards. But donations, I think I'd probably get a donation plugin, or maybe just handle that via a simple PayPal for that. Because you don't need that whole big shop interface, like products and variables and variants and attributes. You don't need all that stuff for donations. All you need for donations is a simple couple of fields and then a payment gateway, just so people can send money to you. In fact, probably how I would implement that would be Gravity Forms. So I'd Gravity Forms with the PayPal add-on and just allow them to send information through and payments through that way. Jonathan asks, why are there two plugins for Stripe and for WooCommerce? Simple, because the Stripe payment isn't included in the WooCommerce core. I don't know why, I don't know the reasons for that. It was sold as a commercial plugin before, and now it's given away for free. So maybe that's the reason. Maybe they just wanted people to pay for it, and then they just haven't merged that back into the core app. But yeah, at the moment, it's two separate plugins. I don't know why. Juanita asks, PayPal also takes credit card payments, and you don't need an account. Yes, it does, but if you want to integrate it with WooCommerce, then I think Stripe is a better way of taking your credit cards, because it's a better payment process. It allows you to host the stuff on your actual website. So when you're dealing with PayPal, you're basically throwing people out to the PayPal website, and PayPal does all that sort of stuff there, and then it sends you back to your own website. If you're using Stripe, it allows you to take payments within the context of your own website URL. So it's a bit of a trust factor as well. People like to stay on the same website. If they're getting thrown out to different websites, that can send up a red flag for people. And the Stripe allows you to stay within your own WordPress WooCommerce URL. So that's what's good about Stripe and other payment gateways as opposed to PayPal. Yep, so just asking that. Another ask. You mentioned don't share your PayPal Stripe API info. What if you are setting up a store for someone? Is there another way for third party to get the information? No, what I mean is don't share that publicly. So if you're setting it up for a client, that's completely fine, because you should have a contract in place to basically say, you're not sharing information and it's commercial in confidence. So that should be in your terms and conditions and your contract when you're dealing with that sort of stuff. So that's completely fine. What I mean is just don't screen share it, and don't share it with anyone like anonymous person. Okay, so let's move on. A quick one. Elizabeth says, is Stripe a better option than Square? Square traditionally is a physical payment service. So they've got the little docket, little square thing that you tap your card onto, and they have moved into the online sphere. But I still think Stripe, I think it's a better back-end management solution. And really, I don't know about the costs. So I don't know about the fees that Square charge versus Stripe. So I really can't answer that one. But I do like Stripe. I've used it for years and years and years, and I'm fairly happy with that. So let's jump back into the settings. So we've done general, we've done products, we've skipped past the scary shipping. We've done payments. Let's have a quick look through the rest. So accounts and privacy, it is pretty much what you think it is. So this is all about your account. So allowing people to check out as a guest, or allowing them to create an account during the checkout process, how they're going to access that account, how it's going to be created, and data privacy as well. So are you going to allow people to request you to remove their data, or what data they've got on them, and privacy policies and things as well. And retention for personal data. Now, this stuff was really put in to comply with the European GDPR, the General Data Privacy Regulation, I think is what it was called. And that was back in 2017, 2018, I think it was. But generally, in Australia, we don't need to 100% comply exactly with all this sort of stuff, but it's handy to have in there and enabled just if you need it in there. So this is more about account creation when you create it, and how you're going to allow people to interact with your website. You're just going to deal with guests completely and not allow people to create accounts, or are you going to allow people to create an account and then when they order again, they log back in, and maybe they need to log back in to get access to their virtual downloads, for example. So that's accounts and privacy there. Emails. Just a note, WooCommerce generates a lot of emails. So you'll need to go through these. Some are sent to you as the shop owner, the administrator, and some are sent to the customer. And there's a lot of emails. So you'll need to go through those and customize them for your brand, for your experience, for your customers. But in general, at the very bottom, you've got a general from name. So that could be, from the shop owner. So Bob Bobley. And then your from address there. And then you can put in header images. So this is, you can preview your email template. So there's what it's going to look like generally. But then you can add stuff. You can add a header image in here. So that'd be a URL in there. You can use some footer text. So if you want to put terms and conditions or stuff like that, you can ask there. And they've got some of the WooCommerce have these little dynamic tags. So you can insert your site title. You can insert different little tags. And again, these tags are within the docs on docs.woocommerce.com and under the core WooCommerce help. And again, you got the base color in here, so you can select any color you like. So you can make a nice lime green color, bright green color in there. And the background color, the body background, the body color of the text as well. You know, if you want it to go absolutely crazy, you can have green and red. Save those changes, and then just like kind of quickly preview that, and you can see like the changes will come through dynamically. That is absolutely horrible. Lovely. So that's emails. Definitely go through each of those. You've got things like new order, cancelled order, failed order. That's for the admins. Then you've got the customer side. You've got order on hold, processing, completed, refunded. You've got your invoice details as well, customer notes, and then you've got the account side. So reset password, and here's a new account, and then you've got some kind of more specific payment issue ones there. Let's have a look. More questions. Do you need to comply with GDPR if you're selling to those European countries? Great question, Abinita. I covered GDPR quite a lot because, as you can tell from the accent, I'm not a native to Australia. I'm actually from the UK. So yes, if you are specifically targeting those European countries, then yes, you will need to comply by GDPR. If you're just generally selling internationally, for everyone, then no, you don't need to specifically comply with GDPR. But if your product that you're making is specifically targeted one of those European countries that is covered by that law, then yes, you'll need to comply with all those regulations, all those data privacy regulations. Okay, moving on. What time is it? It's coming up for 7 o'clock. Good. Integration. So this one here, it's just got one integration here. You'll find that as you add more plugins that expand WooCommerce, you'll probably get more little settings here. But this one here out of the WooCommerce core, MaxMind is a geolocation tool. Basically, you can create a free account, and it allows you to do something like 1,000 geolocation lookups per day or week or month. I can't quite remember exactly what it is, but there's a free and then there's paid services as well, and that basically allows you to calculate where you are as a shop owner and the customer, where the customers are, so where, you know, which country they are, and then the more you pay in the plan, then you can get more specific. So the free one I think just does country, and then the kind of the pro ones can go down by kind of state or postcode level, and so that comes into play more if you're doing marketing, you're trying to target specific people. So for example, you could say something like, you know, if you detect that a customer is from New South Wales, then you can say, oh, look, I've got a discount for New South Wales customers, 10% off all orders until midnight tonight, you know, things like that. So that's the sort of things you can use with this kind of geolocation service. It's more kind of marketing for that. Then a quick look at advanced. So this is the last setup. So this is the last one you have to go through for the core WooCommerce setup if you're a shop owner and this is your first time. And again, we've got a list of other little sub settings here. I'll just make that a little bit bigger, get rid of me. So we've got general page setup, we've got REST API, webhooks, legacy API, and WooCommerce.com. I'm not going to cover these other ones because they are more kind of developer type stuff, and the WooCommerce.com is just like the marketing for the commercial stuff for WooCommerce. But definitely page setup is where we want to go. So cart page these are pretty self-explanatory. That's where your cart is. This is the page that you go with checkout, and these are the ones that were created when we enabled WooCommerce. So the WooCommerce plugin itself will create these pages, and then we can go into the pages and customize them how we like. So for example, if you've got Elementor Pro or Beaver Builder Pro, then you can go in and customize those to give your page, make it look really, really nice for your visitors. Otherwise, you can use the Gutenberg editor and edit those just to how the look and feel that you want them for. So cart, checkout, my account, terms and conditions. Now, terms and conditions isn't created by default. I have no idea why not, but you can do that. And I would strongly advise that you always have a terms and conditions if you're selling anything, and even if that is service based. So let's just create one quickly, just so I can show you how to do it. So we'll go into pages, go in the pages view, click on add new at the top, and then give the page a title. Oh, welcome to the block editor. Hello. A title, so terms and conditional, and then what we want, me. And we'll publish that. That's a very, very quick and simple terms and conditions. Go back to WordPress. Okay, and then I'm going to reload this in because it won't understand what pages are until we reload the back end. So now we can select the terms and conditions page. So now we've got the full suite of pages: cart, checkout, my account, terms and conditions, which is great. You don't need to worry about this. These are all the REST API stuff. So just leave those as default. Again, with account endpoints, just leave those as default unless you're a developer and you're playing around with stuff. And save changes on those. So I'll let you have a quick look at those. So REST API, if you're a developer you're interested, it's just got, you can add your keys so you can connect to your account. Webhooks, so you can send packets of data to other places like Zapier, so you can integrate with other stuff. You can leave legacy API and WooCommerce.com as well. This allows you to connect with WooCommerce so they can track everything you do. Right. So what haven't we done? We haven't done shipping. So I'm going to recycle. I'm going to go back to shipping in a second, and I don't want to go on too much. It's already hitting 7 o'clock, and I know people will be getting a little bit weary at the moment. But I just want to show you all those settings. So those are the settings that you really need to go through, and that will help you. So if you're setting up a virtual WooCommerce site, then you're 99% of the way there because you don't need to bother about shipping. All you need to do now is go into products and set up your products, and I'll quickly have a look at that a little bit later on. But what I want to tell you is there's also something else you need to go into that's not in the settings. So the WooCommerce settings is kind of split into this area, the settings area here, but it's a little bit also in the customizer. So it's a kind of splattered in 2 different places. Now, if you're new to WordPress, the customize is down here. It's in appearance and customize. And you'll see that you now have a WooCommerce navigation aid. I'll just make that a little bit bigger. WooCommerce. So in here, you've got store notice. So you can set up a default store notice that goes across the top of your entire store in lovely pink. You can, of course, change that whatever color you like within your CSS or your theme. And then you've got product catalog. So you can show, I've got no products at the moment, so it's not showing anything, but you can show products, show categories or categories and products. How do you want to the categories to display? So you want to show the products or subcategories or things like that. Default sorting. So how it's popular, average rating, most recent, price, ascending, descending, and how many products per row do you want to sell, and how many rows per page for pagination. So that little stuff, I don't know why that's not also in the settings. It just seems to be in the customizer, but definitely go in there and have a look for those. Product images as well, so you can change the sizes of your default images and the thumbnail width as well to make it look nice when you're showing your categories. And last one is the checkout. So the checkout field, so you get your billing details here. So you can choose things like the company name. You can make that optional, or you can hide it completely if you're not interested in, or you're not dealing with companies directly. Or you can make it required as well if you need somebody to put the company name in there. Address line 2, similar. The phone field, similar as well. If you're interested in capturing phone, if you need to capture phone or you're not bothered. And here are links to your privacy and terms and conditions. This is why I suggest you always have you create your terms and conditions while you're doing this process. Because right down at the bottom, you've got this one here. So basically it tells you your privacy policy, and then you've got a link to your privacy policy, and then you get to agree your terms and conditions for there. And if that page is not set, then that little terms and condition thing goes away. So that's why it's always a good idea to set your terms and conditions, have it on the page, just so that when people are checking out, then they have to abide by your terms and conditions, and then that covers you legally. You know, if they don't pay anything or there's some sort of issue with payments or transactions or things like that. So definitely go into the customizer and make sure you do those little bits there for your shop. I'll answer a couple of questions, then I might jump into products, just let you have a quick look at the products, and then I might tackle shipping. No. Okay, some questions. Let's just see. Andrew asks, how does WooCommerce advise how much tax has been charged and who to give it to? That is at a country level, Andrew. So you'll when you select those options, then you'll be able to create different shipping zones. So this is in your kind of shipping and tax. So when you're dealing with different countries, then you can set a particular tax from that in those particular zones. Morris says Shopify has free terms and condition templates, and you can use them on non-Shopify pages. Oh, there we go. That's fantastic. Yep. Just as long as you remove Shopify and put your shop name. Another question from Juanita asks, please, could you go through shipping if you have products? Yeah, okay, I'll go through shipping. I just don't want to bore people because I know it's already like an hour in. But if some of you guys are willing to stick with me, then yes, I will do shipping. Do you want to do shipping now? Yeah, let's get it over and done with. Okay. Shipping. Shipping's a nightmare, okay? Absolute nightmare. If you're shipping physical products, this is the most complicated part of setting up any store, regardless whether it's WooCommerce or not. So if you're trying to do this with WooCommerce and you're getting all in a tizzy and you're thinking, oh, it must be WooCommerce, it's rubbish, I'll jump onto Shopify. Shopify is exactly the same. So shipping is shipping regardless of what e-commerce store you set up. Right, so shipping is, of course, shipping your physical products to the customer. So you don't need to bother about this if you're selling virtual stuff or downloads or services. But, you know, if you've got products, then yes, you need to come in here and do all this. Now, if you're based in Australia, which I'm guessing most people are that are watching, then what you probably should do is, don't set up shipping yet, is to go into plugins, add new, type in Australia Post. And install this extension. So Australia Post WooCommerce extension by WP Ruby. Install that. Now the reason that I'm doing this is that, you know, if you're going to ship stuff, then you need to ship it with someone. Australia Post is probably going to be the first option that comes to people's minds. Yes, there's lots of other shipping plugins and there's different couriers and stuff, but Australia Post is probably the most recognized, and certainly most of the clients that I have dealt with a WooCommerce website have went with Australia Post first. So before you go into shipping and setting up your zones, install this plugin first. It's easier to install this first and activate it and then set up your shipping rather than try and play around with shipping and then think, oh, how do I connect this with Australia Post? So do this first. I'll activate that. Okay, and then we'll go back to the WooCommerce settings, which is here. We'll do that a page refresh to pick up on new settings. Okay, all right. So here we're in shipping, and in shipping has 3 sub navigations. We have shipping zones. Now, shipping zone is an area, it's a region where you're shipping something to. We have shipping options, which talks about calculating the shipping on which page, or you can hide all your shipping costs until the customer puts in an address, which is probably preferential, and destinations as well. So you can set your ideal destination to be your customer's shipping address or the default to the billing address. Now, the billing address is always present in WooCommerce unless you get a plugin to override it. So that's why that's the default. You can force it to be the customer's billing address, which might get a bit confusing if you're asking them to fill out a shipping address as well, and some debug stuff here. And you probably will need debug mode at some point if the shipping isn't working properly. Shipping classes. So shipping classes are if you've got a group of products that are going to that you're going to send out that are similar, you can apply a shipping class to them. And then you can add those into a zone. So for example, you can have a shipping class, let's say heavy greater than 40 kilograms. And then we'll save that as a shipping class. You can have a shipping class that's called fragile. And then we'll save that as a shipping class. So the ones that are heavy, heavy that are greater than 40 kilograms, you know that you're going to have to pay more than that. You're going to have to pay quite a bit to send those. And then fragile, you know that you're going to have to pay extra to get like padding or styrofoam or little chips or something for those. So you can add these shipping classes, and that groups all these different products together. You can add a shipping class to a product. So for example, if you're selling glassware, chinaware, stuff that's going to break easily, then within your products, you will add a shipping class of fragile to those. If you've got like super heavy stuff, if you've got punnets of stuff, bags of potatoes, cows, whatever you're selling that are over 40 kilograms, you can add that shipping class in that product, and that product gets linked with that class. And then you can have that type of shipping all related for those, rather than do it product by product. So those are shipping classes. Let's have a look at some shipping zones. Okay, so these are your geographical locations that you're shipping to. So countries or postcodes, for example. Let's add a shipping zone just now. Okay, so zone name. We are going to give this zone name. Where are we going to send it to? South Australia. Well, let's go to the UK. Go to the UK. Okay, zones. So let's have a look at the zones. So it's by country, and then it gets down to specific regions or territories, and that's the kind of the lowest level this goes down to. So let's type in the UK. It might not be. It might be United Kingdom. Yeah, there we go. United Kingdom. So I can limit that to postcodes as well for those, but let's just leave it at a high level. So I'm just creating this shipping zone, and this is the shipping zone to the UK. So all the products that I'm shipping here, this is how I deal with the costs regarding shipping to this location. I'll save those changes just now. Okay, so we've got this United Kingdom one. So then we can add a shipping method. So let's add a shipping method. So these are the methods that we have. So we can do a flat rate. We can do free shipping, local pickup. I'm not going to get very many people from the UK flying over to pick up the product, but so flat rate. If you've got a flat rate for a deal with your courier or whatever, free shipping usually doesn't apply. But here we can set the Australia post. So 9 out of 10 times, first time Australian WooCommerce store that's selling physical products is going to be using Australia Post to do that. So let's do Australia Post there and add a shipping method. Okay, so now we've created that method that's associated with the United Kingdom. We can then go in to that shipping method. Sorry, it's taking a little bit of time. Probably peak hour MBN. There we go. Right, so shipping zones, this is the UK. The method is Australia shipping. Here's the API key. So you can get your API key from here. So developers.australiapost.com.au. So you need to create an account, set it up, copy the API key back into here. Again, documentation for this is with the plugin for that, and that will show you how to do it. And this is so that your website communicates with Australia Post, and it sends the units, so the dimensions and the weight up to Australia Post, and Australia Post will send down the cost back to your WooCommerce site. So shipping post origin codes, this would be your business address. It doesn't need to be your exact business address. It could be your warehouse. So you'd set that here, but that's definitely, that's where your physical products reside. Okay, and that's where your Australia Post is going to collect them from and then deliver them from. So there, you can have default packet weights and default widths and heights and lengths. So these are your dimensions. So if you are shipping something physically, you have got to, of course, on each product, set all these weights, widths, heights, and lengths. So all your dimensions need to be set per product. However, this is a default. So maybe you sell something that's the same dimension all the time. So you can set your default stuff here, and this is what the Australia Post API will use as a default if you don't set any of this stuff on a per product basis. And again, debug mode, delivery time estimation, that's from the API from Australia Post, and GST. So you can basically specify, should you use GST or not? So if you don't have to use GST, if you're not generating, actually generate under 75,000 Australian dollars every year, you don't need to be registered for GST. But if you're making over 75,000 Australian dollars, then you do need to be registered for GST. So you can enable or disable that, and that will link in with the API. They'll send that information back and calculate the GST on those as well. So that's the basic Australia Post one. So the basic free plugin just generates the API from the weight, width, height, and length. If you want more stuff, so for example, you get those little pre-packets from Australia Post. You get the courier, you get the express one, you get the one-day ones. So if you want to use those little bags, express bags, then you'd upgrade to this the pro version of this plugin. It's about $50 US, I think, which is about $75 a year. So it's not a lot, but it adds all this extra stuff from Australia Post, and then it allows you to select like the priority satchels and international satchels and things like that, if that's what you use for your business. And then you'll be able to use those within your shipping zones. And then if you've got that selected, it'll go back to Australia Post API. It'll say, oh, I'm using the international shipping fast packet, and it'll give you the price for that. And that's how that will get calculated. So very, very useful. It's a great plugin. Really, really good. Okay, so that's shipping zones. I'm not going to dwell too much in that, but yeah, if you're selling physical products, you need to make sure that your shipping zones are spot on. Otherwise, you're going to get a mismatch with your shipping prices. Yep, you are welcome, Anita. It's a big subject. You could do shipping on its own, just for an entire WordPress meetup. So let's quickly have a look at products. So we've covered all the settings for your WooCommerce shop. I know it's been a bit in detail, but hopefully that's given people a little bit more confidence into what to expect. Let's quickly just add some products. So products here, on the products menu, we've got add new. We can import or export. So these are CSV files. And again, all the information is on the documentation on the WooCommerce.com website. But essentially, if you've got a whole list of products, you can import them on a CSV file rather than type them in one by one. And that includes file images as well. You can give image file names, and it will pick them up as well. But let's just add a quick one. I'm just wary of the time. It's 7:15. Okay, so let's give this one. This one's called Top Banana. I love this product image. Okay, this is a banana trophy. Okay, I'm going to give it a category. We can add a new product category here, or trophy. Add that new one. There we go. So that's coming in here. So down the side, you've got options like the categories, the tags for products. You've got the product image. So let's select a product image. I've got one here. There's a trophy, Top Banana trophy. If you want to add extra images, then you add them down here, and they will appear as a gallery underneath. But I'm just going to choose one. That's a featured image there. That's the main image that's associated with that product. And this one here, Juanita. So if I didn't choose that, if I removed that, then it would show that default image when you see the product. But now that I've added an image, it's going to show that image there as a featured product image. Down the bottom is your short description. In there, if I could spell properly, it'd be great. And then in between here, so you can have. Sorry, that's the description. This is the big, detailed description that is at the bottom of the product, and I'll show you that in a second. And this is the short description that's next to the item where all the cost is. And then in the middle, we have the actual settings for the product. So here, we can choose what type of product. So WooCommerce out of the box can do simple products. It can do a grouped product, so you can group multiple products together if you want to sell a bundle. An external or affiliate product. So maybe you're doing drop shipping from Amazon, and then you can sell those through your website and then link with a plugin through into there. Or a variable product as well. And so a variable product has lots of different variations for those. So you might have like a big, a small, a medium, whatever for those. But let's just keep a simple one at the moment. So you can choose for it to be virtual, and it gets rid of the shipping. You see that? If I uncheck shipping, say shipping here, I'll just make it a bit bigger so you can see. You don't want to see me. So click on virtual, and what's the shipping? The shipping disappears because you don't need shipping for virtual. So you can have virtual, and you can have downloadable or not downloadable. So if you're downloading things like music or images or PDFs or something, then you can click on that and then add the files into there with all that information.
Hi, Dad.
Hello. Good night. You off to bed?
You, Dad. Yeah, and I'm going to read my story.
Oh, okay.
Electric one.
Night, night, night.
Night, see you in the morning.
Sorry, everyone. That was my 5-year-old. He's going off to bed. Okay, back to the product. So a simple product. Let's click those off. You got a regular price here. Let's give the trophy as $20, and maybe if you want to do a sale price, then you can do like $15 for that. You don't have to put sale price, but definitely you have to put your regular price. Inventory, so if you're doing stock management, you can do basic stock, in stock, or back order. If you've got stock management selected on in the settings, then you can put the number of quantity of the stock you've got in there. SKU numbers, if you're dealing with large volumes of stuff, so that's a unique identifier for the product. Let's get an SKU of ban. And then shipping. So here's where you need to put all your shipping for this Australia Post stuff. So in here, you can put the weight. Maybe it's like 0.5 kilograms. Maybe it's the length is like 10 centimeters. Oh, no units. 10 by 10 by, I don't know, 25. Just making things up. So here's where you can set your shipping class. So maybe this is a fragile trophy. Maybe it's made like of gold or crystal or something like that. And you can set that to be fragile. And then that means that shipping class there is, you can set all the attributes to that shipping within the settings. So now you're sending that out, WooCommerce knows exactly what type of shipping to use with this particular product. Linked products, so this is upsells and cross sells for those. So, you know, if you bought this trophy here, you might like this these series of medals or these other trophies that link to it. Attributes, so here's where you can create different attributes for those, or you can select attributes to those, add them. So if you've got like small, medium, large, or red, yellow, green, or green banana, blue banana, stuff like that, you can add them here. Advanced or purchase note, so you can add some extra stuff onto the customer. So if you want to give them a little bit of instructions, you can say, you know, things like email me your exact engraving for the trophy, and then, you know, you can say max 100 characters. That. And then more options there. So this is browser marketplaces, the WooCommerce.com. So you don't need to worry about that. This is the general stuff for physical that you got there, and then you just save all that. I think we've got this pretty much set up. So publish that. And then we'll have a quick view. So you got your permalink at the top here. So by default, WooCommerce is not blockified, not Gutenbergified yet. It's still the old classic editor. So we can have a view on that. And then we can see here. So now they've got a sale on that. So this is what the sale one does. So I should probably remove that. But here we've got the featured image. And again, if I went back into there and remove that, remove the product image and update, we can see that it defaults back to that thumbnail that we saw earlier that you can set. So this is what happens if you don't set a per product image. It just defaults to this. So I'd probably change that for your particular website and just have like a nice little background image. You can replace it's branded for your particular website. But as we can see here, just refresh that. It's on sale just now because we put a sale price in. So it's usually 20, but it's now 15. Here's the name. Here's the short description. So that was the one at the very bottom down here. So it appears along up next to the add cart. So you can add as many as you want because there's no stock management in here. Then add to cart. It's got an SKU there, and there's the category that we defined for it. Now, down the bottom here, this is the main big description. So if you want to have a huge description, and this is where your galleries would be, just under here if you've got multiple images for there. So if you want to have a huge description, then customers could scroll up and down for that. Additional information. So this is going to be your weight and dimensions and attributes as well if you have your attribute set, which we don't at the moment. So that's your basic layout for a product. So you've got your featured image, your title, short description, add to cart. So you'd add that to your cart. And then you get a little notice that says it's been added. Then you can go and view your cart. And then you've got your cart details there. You've got coupons that you can apply. Here we didn't set any up. Or you can just go straight into proceed to checkout. Now, this has got shipping, you know, and I've not got any address. I haven't put any address. That's why it's coming up with that. But I can proceed to checkout. And it's probably going to complain because I've not got this all set out. Oh, there we are. So, okay, that's good. Yeah, so here we are, just ask for your addresses. Here, the stuff that you set up with the customizer. And it's got a detailed of your information. Because I don't have it linked in with Australia Post, then it's not going to calculate anything. It doesn't know how much, because I don't have that set up, and I've not got PayPal set up, and I've not got Stripe set up either. So yeah, so that's that there. So let's go back into the settings. So that was it for products. Pretty simple, really. And that's taken like an hour and 20 minutes to go through that. But that's basically your shop setup. You've set up Australia Post. You've started to create your products as well. Let's go back to some of the questions, I think. I'm going to go back to the presentation. So I'll stop that and share the preso. Add that to the stream. And where are we? Okay. I'll make me bigger. There we go. Hello. Right, let's see if we can ask some questions here. Okay, Andrew asks, can we do volume discount or bundle price if they buy a few? Yes, I mean, there's not off the top of my head, I can't think of the plugins, but yes, there's plugins for those. So if you buy something, then you can say you get a discount on X, Y, and Z. Or if you buy more than something, then you can get a discount on the next 10 you buy, things like that. So yes, that's absolutely possible, Andrew. We need to ask, if you add 10 to cart, or maybe that's cart, Australia Post plugin will calculate this total. Yes, that is completely correct. So once you've set up the Australia Post API, then when you go to the cart, and the customer puts in their shipping address or billing address, then it will then calculate where it's sending it to and how much it's going to cost for shipping. Yep. Jonathan asks, where do the special instructions appear? I'm not too sure what special instructions. Oh, do you mean on the delivery note? Right. Yeah, so they will appear on the invoice and on the purchase invoice. So once somebody's purchased something, they'll get an email for the invoice, and that's where those special notes will appear on there. Okay. Good question. Elizabeth asks, is there a way to get WooCommerce to ask you to confirm your order after you get it to the cart? Well, I guess that's what the checkout page is for. I'm not quite sure exactly what you mean, Liz, by that question. But once you get to the cart, that's your chance to review your purchase, and then modify that if that's what you need, and that's where you can calculate the shipping as well. Yep, you didn't mean cart. I misspell all the time. Morris asks, can you add a markup or profit percentage on top of the shipping price? Yes, you can, but only in the pro version of that plugin. So you can add what's called a handling fee. So if you want to add on like $10 or $20 just for stress management, then yes, you can add. I think you can add a percentage or a flat number on top of that for the shipping price. Yes, definitely. Farouk asks, does WooCommerce mess with your front page if you install it on an already existing site? No, it does not. No, it does not. That's a good question. So it just creates those pages. So your cart page, your shop page, your my account page, checkout page. It creates them in the back end, but it doesn't change anything about your settings. So your settings are from your WordPress down in general and settings. I think under reading, and that's where you can set your front page of your website and your blog post website. WooCommerce doesn't change that. So you can install WooCommerce on your existing website. It will create those pages in the back end, associate them with shop, cart, checkout, things like that. But it's not going to change your homepage unless you go into your settings and change that yourself. So that's a great question. Liz says, I've seen some online shop ask if you are sure before you want to go ahead. Right. Okay. Do you really want to buy this? WooCommerce doesn't do that by default out the box, but I'm fairly sure that you'll find someone who's written a plugin that does that. But in general, I think you want to remove as many obstacles for people. You want to give them the chance to review what they've got in, of course, and that's what the checkout page is for. It says that you're going to buy this stuff right here and give them a chance to add it. But in general, you want to try and remove obstacles. So because if you start asking people, do you really want to do this? Are you sure you want to do this? Then they're just going to go, you know what? I'm going to go somewhere else. This is too complicated. So I guess no is the answer, not out of the box, but probably with a plugin. Okay, I'm going to take one last question and wrap it up for the evening. So Liz says, is there a way to redirect the shopper back to the shop or the homepage after they finish in the shopping cart? Yes, there is. There is a plugin for that. There's a redirect plugin. So if you search WooCommerce, I think it's called WooCommerce Cart or WooCommerce Checkout Redirect, then there's a particular plugin that will, once it's done, then it will redirect after that. Now, there's a couple of reasons you might want to do that. If you want to try and get people to buy more. But in general, when they check out, then they're going to get that confirmation that thank you very much for your product. This is what's going to happen. So it's really up to you whether or not you want to keep that kind of thank you invoice product description page, or whether you not want to redirect them. But yes, you can. There's definitely a plugin to redirect people after they finish with the shopping cart. I've used that on client websites before. Okay, one last question. Juanita asks, how do you pull different products on different pages on your website, or is it just copying the URL of the product? How do you pull different products on different pages of your website? Okay, not 100% sure what you mean there, Rita. Do you maybe mean how do you display one or two separate products on a page? Maybe. Well, you can just do that from within the block editor and then just paste that product URL. I don't know if that makes sense, but each product has its own URL. Let's see if I can stop sharing this and go back to my screen. Application window, where was it? Nope, it's gone already. Sometimes it does this. No, sorry, I can't jump back. But yes, in general, it's a product URL. So the one that I viewed with, so when you're in the products, the link at the top, the permalink, where you view the product from, that's a direct link to the product. So you could create a little image on your block editor and then set the link for that image to that product, and it would go directly to that product. So yeah, I mean, you can link to anything on your WordPress website. So you can create a page that maybe has like a group of products, like a landing page that you want to sell to people, and then that's the way to do it. You'd link your product from that. Or if you've got like a group of products, you could create a group, a WooCommerce group product with all the multiple separate products, and then have a separate link to that group product, which would then include the price of all those separate products. You could do that as like a marketing landing page. Okay. Yep, product URL. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I'm going to wrap up now because it's been a long one. I'm sure everyone's pretty tired for that one. Thank you so much for your questions. Thank you for bearing with me tonight. I hope you have found that useful, going through WooCommerce bit by bit. It's been quite extensive, but seeing someone go through the stuff and talk about it can sometimes help you overcome the fear of, maybe not wanting to get into it, or maybe not understanding in particular how a particular thing works, especially when you get down to shipping. Shipping's really, really complicated when it comes down to WooCommerce shops. Okay, just a quick few things before we wrap up. If you are into Elementor, and Elementor is a page builder, so a drag and drop page builder, we have a regular Elementor meetup now, an evening meetup. So it's the very first Thursday of the month at 6 p.m. and it's AET, so Australian Eastern time. And our next one is this Thursday, so April the 1st. And we are talking about how to make your website mobile and tablet responsive with Elementor. So if you're interested in doing responsive stuff, if you're interested in learning a little bit more about page builders, then join us on Thursday evening at 6 p.m. It lasts for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Nope, I don't know why I put that one in there. There we go. Okay, that's it. That's really all I have for tonight. Thank you so much. I am going to say goodbye to you all. Go and have a cup of tea. Thank you so much for your questions. Thanks for your interaction and just for spending your time. And for the next month, I'm not quite sure what we're going to do next month, but I'll get the meetup set up. But definitely, if you're interested in helping organize, remember to fill out that little form. I could do with a little bit of help over the next few months setting these up. But if not, I shall see you again the same time next month. Thank you very much, guys, and have a lovely evening wherever you are. Ciao.